What's going on, everybody? Wherever you're on the world, good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you may be. Today I wanted to make a video covering potential LC4 builds that we are going to be seeing, and with the number 1 build, you will definitely be seeing it almost as much as level 4, but I don't believe it's as bad because it actually takes way more skill to play than level 4 ever did. So with that said, let's get right into this with the first build right here, which is the Power Slipstream build, the ring game boost, the 130 rings, ring engine slipstream, and dash panel bounty. Now you can kind of change around this build a little bit. This is just the one I'm deciding to show off. This is basically just the acceleration character kit, or the AC build. Since they nerfed it in this patch to not have many ring thief, it is basically just ring game boost and slipstream, so you can use these two on their own. It's basically the same thing. The only difference is if you use an acceleration character, you use boost, so I wouldn't advocate for using it and just use these gadgets on their own, so you're not losing any boost stat, because that's still the best stat, because you want to be drifting as fast as possible regardless of the build you're playing. So, this build, really easy, really simple to get the hang of. All your speed comes from being in the pack, slipstreaming off of others. Get those dash panels for some extra speed as well, get your rings up. The ring engine will be depleting your rings 1 every second, but as long as you're staying in slipstream, you'll still be gaining rings because it gives you 2 rings every second, or a ring a half a second. So as long as you're staying in slipstream, getting those ring lines, hitting those dash panels, you should be gaining rings overall. And the 130 ring is to make sure you can keep your max speed while the rings are still being drained. If you feel like you can't really hit max speed consistently, or like you don't feel like you're getting 100 rings, you feel like you're getting bounced around a lot, you could potentially try the combo dash panel bounty down here and then throw slipstream up here. So you could do combo bounty and then slipstream. If you feel like you're not hitting 100 rings consistently at all, you could try something like this, maybe swap out ring engine for some more ring gain. But the general idea still stays the same. If you want to slipstream off of others to get all your speed, and you can just basically get up, you'll hit like 240s, 250s pretty consistently if you slipstream and hit dash panels. The main downside of this build is that you will get outrun by front runners if they manage to get away, but if you really find yourself struggling in the pack or just not being able to run at all, and you still want to get some decent placements, this is definitely a solid build to start out with. Pretty simple, pretty easy, pretty much anyone get the hang of. I'd recommend playing it with a power car, with a boost or handling character, but you can use this pretty much anybody, I believe. Now moving on to the next build on the list, we have a build very similar to the Power Slip version. I like to call this one the Snake Slip. This was my prior main last patch when we were in the level 4 meta. Obviously used acceleration character kit, but since it's not a 4-slot value with the removal of the mini ring thief, there's no point in that. This is the same idea as the Power Slip, except for extreme gear. So it prioritizes being able to snake instead of slipstreaming. But slipstreaming is obviously still a part of the build. This build is very good at easily getting you up to 100 rings, especially if you're more a fan of the EX gear and running. There isn't too much I can say about this one that I haven't said about Power Slip. This one is the one you run if you want to play EX gear. Now next up here in the middle of the list is going to be the only build in the game without any ring gain whatsoever. This is the best gadget set if you want to be hardcore bagging. Now, this gadget set, I know a lot of people might have like the bias or stigma, oh, just bag and you'll win, which it might work in lower lobbies, but in LC and actual comp lobbies, this is one of the hardest builds in the entire game to play. Your item management and luck needs to be extremely on point. I'll leave a link to it in the description, but I highly recommend checking out the Sonic Crossworld's item distribution chart. There's a website for it that'll help you understand all item probabilities for any position in the game. I think you should be studying it in general, but if you are committed to bagging and that's the way you want to play, it's going to matter even more. Knowing how to get all the power items in your inventory without falling too far behind for first place to realistically make a comeback, it's going to be extremely important. Prioritizing your ring lines and avoiding dangerous items like the slicer and gloves is going to matter a lot when it comes to bagging, because you have no ring gain. You need to get all the ring lines in order to reach max speed, in order to even have a chance of coming back, so you're not forced to use all your power items early. When it comes to the bagging build, I believe EX gear with a boost your power character is best in order to ensure you can get drift lines, but I think anything between handling, power, and EX gear is usable, as unfortunately speed cars are heavily outclassed by the power cars, and well, acceleration cars are, well, bad. Moving on to the second to last build I want to cover. This one is the solo ring engine build. This one utilizes the perfect charge bounty, both quick charges, and the 130 ring limit. If you're a fan of tech drift, you can switch out the quick charges for tech drift, and it's just about as efficient, except you won't have any quick charges in water or planes, but depending on the course, that's not a big deal, or no big deal at all. So with this build, it's basically a time trial build. It is one of the fastest builds in the entire game. It is a bit on the harder side because it relies on you basically having really good lines, being able to front run above everybody else, hitting all your perfect charges, your level 2s and mainly 3s, in order to build up rings, stay at your max speed. There isn't really too much to explain with this build. It's just a classic, really strong front run build. Just make sure you prioritize getting your level 2s, level 3s, and chaining. Just keep running. Have good item management in the front, and you should be zooming by everybody. For this build specifically, you want to be utilizing it with the EX gear or a vehicle with a really high boost stat, like a power car with a boost character, in order to maximize your snaking lines to go as fast as possible. If you have a low boost stat, this build isn't going to be nearly as effective as it should be. And finally, last but certainly not least in the slightest, we have the double ring engine build. As of this current moment in patch 1.3.1, this is the new meta of the game. This is what has overtaken level 4 as the number 1. It is the fastest build in the entire game, and at the same time it is also one of the most difficult at the same time to master and play at a high level efficiently. This one utilizes both ring engines, perfect charge bounty, and level 2 quick charge. With the hyper ring engine specifically, for every ring you collect, that is plus X to your stats. So let's say you have 40 of everything in your stats. Once you reach 60 rings, you are playing the game at 100 speed, 100 XL, 100 handling, 100 power, and 100 boost. So your goal with this build is to stay at that ring threshold and just stay there as long as you can, just outrun everybody. This is a complete crackhead build. It is so good, so fast, but it is very hard to control. Now, 100 handling is probably going to be the hardest part of this build to master. It is unwieldy as all hell at first, but once you can get the feel for it, you can take pretty much any turn in the game exactly how you want to. It's really nice, it's really strong. Your snaking is going to be at its absolute peak because you're at 100 boost stat, so the character you play doesn't matter, which means you can play any character with this. Power characters, no more. For this build, specifically, it especially matters you want to play this build on a handling machine. The best one is either the minecart or the ancient throne. Most people pick the minecart because it's funnier and it's more customizable, and it has a slightly better balance of stats, but the ancient throne has a better boost stat. So if you're low on rings early on, it's a little bit easier to snake, but if you want a more well-rounded kit, I'd go with the minecart. Plus, it's really funny. Now you may be wondering, why do I have to use a handling car with this build? Well, you don't have to. It is highly recommended, because if you don't, you're basically playing at a major disadvantage with this build. Every machine in the game has like its own quirks and properties. I can't remember them all, but the one that matters here is the one for handling cars. Handling cars do not slow down when drifting at all, which means you can keep drifting the entire time, sometimes in what would be considered suboptimal lines with like EX gear or other vehicles. Is just the faster line with handling cars. With every other vehicle in the game, you lose a little bit of speed when drifting. This does not happen in the handling car, so that is why it is highly recommended if you are going to play the double ring engine build, bring a handling car with you, preferably a minecart. Now for the last part of this video, I wanted to cover two aspects that may be slightly overlooked, especially the last one. First one is item management. Your item management is going to be the difference between you finishing in podium and dead fucking last place. Knowing when to go on the aggressive and when to be passive is incredibly important, especially when you get into Legend Comp and higher lobbies in the competitive scene. Knowing not to immediately swing your items upon receiving something you don't want is usually smart, Because if you're hitting somebody at the start of the race, you just allowed that person to bag for the rest of the race. With a meta where level 4 is no longer currently the best, knowing to hold your items even if they're attack items for defense is incredibly important, because if you waste your items hitting somebody just to hit them, then someone else can immediately hit you afterwards, and congratulations, both of you are screwed. Oh, both of you lost. Now this isn't to say you can't literally never attack anybody, but try to think more critically on when you're trying to hit somebody. Hitting people towards the end of the race, on shortcuts, on big jumps, generally places that are more unfavorable to get hit, will have way more of a lasting impact than just getting rid of your item after the first item set. I plan to go more in depth about this topic in a future video, but the bottom line is, try to play a little more passive. Don't be omega aggressive against people. If you see an opening to hit somebody that won't leave you completely defenseless, go for it, especially if you're running at the end of the race and it gives you the win. Absolutely go for something like that. But just remember to use your items thinking about the long term of the race instead of, oh, I'm going to immediately hit this person. Think about, oh, will I need this item to defend later? Or will hitting this person on a shortcut or later part of the track screw them over even more than if I were to hit them this immediate second? The last thing I want to talk about in this video is mentality. Going in with a good mentality, with the confidence that you can win this, you can do this, is incredibly important. Even if you're not as good as other players, having that confidence that you can do it is sometimes all you need. If you feel like things aren't going well, aren't going your way, remember to take breaks and think critically back on mistakes you potentially made during your matches. This is also a topic I plan to cover more thoroughly in a future video, but I wanted to bring it up now in this LC video as it's about to begin as of recording right now, because it is incredibly important. With a good mindset, you can do pretty much anything as long as you have the skill to back it up. And that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I've been kind of holding off on this video since LC2, when I got top 10 back in that. That's what this video was originally supposed to be, but it got held back so far I kind of had to change what it was, so I thought I'd help make a guide. Hopefully this makes your LC experience a little more bearable. Hopefully you can get that Emerald title, top 100, exclusive top 10, whatever you're trying to go for. I hope this video can help people. As of uploading this video right now, I am currently live on Twitch suffering through the Legend Comp, so if you just want to see a good player suffer, the link will be in my description, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening.